So today, the deck that I want is a very special deck to me, which is why the introduction has been so long, because I think that this woman, she's quite mysterious, the lady who has designed this deck, and like she really holds my intrigue, and I would just love to meet her one day. Because this woman is so connected. She's, as far as I know, she's English. At least she's based in England. I don't know what exactly her lineage is. But of course, because I'm connected to Britain and Ireland, the Celtic folklore and Celtic myths would be very important to me in my connection to the Celtic land, and which of course Ireland and Britain are obviously extremely similar, and we're both connected with our Celtic history and with the high priestesses of Avalon, with the Druidic lore. So I'm getting quite excited when I think of this lady. Her name was Claire Nahmed. So I'm just going to try and get this into the view. And very simple, the fairy book. Now, I absolutely adore this deck. I cannot. The first day I was introduced to it by a friend nearly 2 years ago, and she happened to have this deck lying around in her house and she hadn't used it, and somebody had given it to her because they actually felt a little uncomfortable by the messages in the deck, because they felt, and this is very interesting to me, they felt that the deck held so much truth. That was what she said. The deck had so much truth in it. She didn't like the truth. And she gave this deck to my friend. And my friend never really took much notice or used it until I pulled it out of her shelf, her bookcase one day, where she has umpteen decks. And we were sitting around and we decided to do some card readings. And this little beauty was there. And so I decided, right, oh my God, the fairy book, look at this. And I thought this could be just something lighthearted and fun for us to enjoy. But whoa, I did not realise how magical and amazing this book has been for me since I've been using it. And she's actually written some books about femininity, and so that was it. It was like love at first sight. So I raced off. I just had to have this deck for myself. I had to have it, because the messages that came out the first time we only did a 3-card reading, was incredible. And it was so powerful and uplifting to me that day that it gave me belief. It renewed and strengthened a part of me that was lacking a bit of confidence, because we are all definitely struggling, transitioning into the 5D. And when I say struggle, of course, there is no struggle in 5D. But sometimes the transition of going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. So that was definitely a point 2 years ago. It's not to say that there still isn't sometimes a toing and a froing, because life is hard. But at the moment, I'm just shuffling these cards, and we're coming up to the September 23rd. It's going to be the autumn equinox, the autumn full moon, and it's an Aries full moon as well. So this is quite a powerful one, quite a fiery one. At the moment we have Venus retrograde in Scorpio, Jupiter is in Scorpio, and I am a Scorpio. But please do not fear. I am on the more higher vibrational, higher tuned Scorpio, because unfortunately the Scorpios seem to get a very bad rap out there. So I'm just shuffling the cards, and I'm going to, so you can maybe hear them here, so you can see. Now I have absolute faith, trust and belief that I know that always the right card comes out. And at this moment I ask for the highest, most appropriate card that will have the highest message for everybody now and in the future that comes across and watches this video, that you will receive exactly the highest and best message for your highest and greatest good from this beautiful deck from the wisdom of the fairies. I'm going to pick one card. When I say I mean that the divinity that flows through me, through my I am presence, will choose the right card. So I'm just going to split the deck. I've split it, and I'm just going to take the very top card. So this is the Fairy of the 9 Gifts. That's kind of nice. The Fairy of the 9 Gifts. How beautiful is that? And so simple. This simplistic picture. It's also a number 18 is the number on this card, which I often find can be significant as well. So now if you'll bear with me, I'm just going to look up the book to see what card number 18, the Fairy of the 9 Gifts. Because the message is very often not the message that you may think that it's going to be. And I also want people to see how great this deck is. The Fairy of the 9 Gifts, the element is water, tradition is Celtic. Habitat, blessed water, the water of holy wells and springs. Water used in religious ceremonies, white magic and healing rituals. Our individual soul sphere, for she is the birthday fairy who grants wishes. It just strikes me immediately when I pick this card up, the Fairy of the 9 Gifts to me resonates with the 9 of Cups in a traditional tarot card. You have the 9 of Cups, which is the gift giver. It is the card of having wishes and desires and almost fulfillment, but not quite, but actually nearly there. So almost manifestation. So I just wonder. The lesson from the Fairy of the 9 Gifts. Open your heart to receive the gifts that are to be showered on you. Let your delight stimulate your desire to give to others. Whatever comes to you will be a manifestation of your soul's deepest desire. So I think today's message coming up to the full moon from that is to think carefully and be careful and wish for something that is in accordance with your life, something that's important to you, something that will add and bring value to your life and to your existence. Be careful what you wish for. Make sure it is something that is coming from love and purity and happiness, something that comes from inside, and that it's not an external thing that you're wishing for externally, materialistically. We'd all love to have a new car, we'd all love to have a new phone, we'd all love to have these new things, and they all add certain value and quality to our life. But do you need to wish exactly for that new car? Because sometimes how that new car comes to you may not be the way that you bargain for it. Wish for something that means something. Wish for abundance in your life, wish for health, wish for wealth, wish to have a beautiful journey, and that every day you are divinely and supremely protected and loved, and that everything that you need on a daily basis is there for you, is provided for you. All your needs taken care of. Not your wants, but your needs. The key word of the Fairy of the 9 Gifts is hope. The attainment of your heart's desire is near. The deepest longing of your soul concerns a spiritual hunger which will be consummated with a unique nourishment crafted by this fairy to her co-worker, your guardian angel. Prepare for her wonderful act of baptism, for the Fairy of the 9 Gifts will continue to baptize you throughout your life and will always pour her gifts into your lap. Remember that sometimes her greatest offerings are given through a veil of darkness. The fairy of darkness was rejected at the prince's christening in the tale of Sleeping Beauty, although she had the most precious gift to give, the princess's lover. Perhaps if we learn not to hate and refuse the dark fairy's gifts, which are difficulty and sorrow, we will not have to wait 100 years for our prince. That's a hard one to take, huh? So it's saying that there is a certain amount of darkness, that's the shadow side, that we experience for growth in order. So sometimes suffering, maybe that feeling of going without, maybe we feel we're suffering because we don't have the money to buy the new car, the money to buy the new phone that will make what we think will make our daily life easier, more enjoyable, more sociable perhaps. Sometimes these things are perhaps don't come to us or withheld from us because what we have to get through first is those other, what we feel are these darker, difficult emotions or parts of our life, difficulties, and even the sorrow, the pain, the grief. So the message is to work through some of those feelings now coming up to the full moon. And this is going to be a fantastic time and opportunity for release, to release any negativity, any thread of emotion, guilt, pain, suffering, anything that you're holding, any shreds of it. And it's possible you may not be entirely aware of it, but it's there. Now is the time to release, release, release. Let it go. Let it go and just say to the universe, I release you now to the full moon. And it's saying that after the full moon, it's very possible to actually manifest in what you really, really, truly, deeply desire and need for your life. But we have to get through the dark parts first, because that is part of the awakening and the ascension. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. I hope I have helped to demystify a little bit. And also for people to see that there are so many variety of decks and cards out there that you needn't be afraid of them. But we also don't need to depend on them either. But they are partly of very important tools along the way that do help us to understand and to grow and to learn. So until the next time, please check me out, The Celtic Empath. Please like and subscribe to my page, and check out my Facebook page. Everything is still kind of new at the moment. I'm still kind of just starting all of my social networks up, but there will be more to come. So like and subscribe. Thank you very much, because that really does help. And comment below, because I really want to know what other people's experiences are as well. And even after listening to this video, I would like to know if that I am providing helping and changing and inspiring somebody else to step into their power. Because as I go along this journey, the biggest challenge to step into my power